Welcome to today's 1-hour webinar hosted by Prevention Plus Wellness, LLC, located here in beautiful St. Augustine, Florida. It's another nice, warm, sunny day, but it's actually cooler here, feeling that cool air. For coolness for us means 71 degrees right now, but it's a beautiful sunny day, and I hope it's nice where you're at, and thanks for joining us. I know you're busy. You've got a lot on your plate, and so it's always wonderful to have people sign in for these webinars. My name is Dr. Chudley Wirch, and I'm the founder and CEO at our small little company called Prevention Plus Wellness, this educational company where we offer these unique integrated substance use prevention plus wellness programs for youth and young adults across the country, all 50 states and abroad. So thank you for joining us. Today's session is one session or a single session parent prevention plus wellness program. So I'm going to give you an overview of what we offer in the parent training arena. And that's what we'll be doing today. We've got an hour to spend today. I'm not sure I have a full hour of content, so I think I'll be able to get through it in plenty of time, and then it'll be open for Q&A, or for comments. So find your chat option, find your Q&A option in your toolbar, and be prepared to write a comment or ask a question. And you can do that anytime throughout this 1-hour session. And then when we get toward the end, when I'm done showing slides, we'll take those questions and comments in the order that they're received. And you will be receiving, all of you who have registered for today, will be receiving a link to this recorded session. You'll be receiving a certificate for a 1-hour CEU for viewing today's session. And I will send you the PDF slides of today's session. So you're welcome to share the link of the recorded webinar and the slides with all of your friends and your colleagues throughout your region and state and nation. Please do share that if you think it's worthwhile. I think you'll find it worthwhile because we've got a lot of good content today for those of you interested. And I'm assuming most of you are interested in parent training in the prevention field. So there's 3 objectives for today's session. The first is to describe the single session parent PPW, and by that I mean prevention plus wellness programs, and to describe exactly what they are. What are they and what do they include? Secondly, we're going to look at steps for implementing parent PPW programs. And then lastly, the bulk of today's content is going to be actually exploring sample parent PPW parent training slides. So you get a sense of how you as a prevention or health specialist would actually train parents in implementing PPW programs. Okay, so first of all, let's answer the question, what are parent prevention plus wellness programs? So, we've always known, and of course, research bears this out, that parents play a major role in the initiation of youth substance use and their engagement in healthy protective behaviors. And so it's not enough for us as prevention specialists and health providers to talk to youth and provide them with content and motivate them and help them gain skills and healthy habits and avoid substance use if at home things are working in the other direction, if the parents are not also providing that same positive image, content, and communication, and having their youth set goals for improving their lifestyles over time. So we've known that all along, and in fact, our earliest program, the SPORT, which is our alcohol and drug prevention plus wellness program for youth, has always included not just the screening and brief intervention program within the manual and the digital downloads that you provide directly to youth, but also the second intervention that is a letter to parents and 4 weekly flyers. So we always knew very early that we wanted to and needed to reach out to parents and caregivers to help them also support our efforts as prevention specialists in promoting healthy, active youth and avoiding substance use. Now, more recently, what we've done is we've created and expanded our efforts in the parent arena by developing these, what we call Parent Prevention Plus Wellness programs. So what they are is we've taken our original evidence-based programs where we provide content directly to youth. For example, the Sport PPW program, which addresses largely alcohol, marijuana PPW, opioid PPW, the vaping PPW program, which addresses e-cigarettes, and InShape PPW, which addresses alcohol and drugs for young adults. We've essentially taken each of those evidence-based and evidence-informed youth programs, and we've converted them into parent training programs. Now, each of these parent PPW training programs consists of a single session PowerPoint training program that you can implement to your parents and caregivers in your region or state. And that's presented by you as a prevention or health specialist. These parent PPW programs are great for reaching busy parents and caregivers because they're just a single session. So rather than a lot of parent prevention training programs that are 6 sessions, 8, 12 sessions, this is like all of our youth programs. It's a single session. So it's much more likely and practical, and you're much more likely to reach many parents because it's just a single session program. And what you're providing with the Parent PPW program is this essential evidence-based prevention and wellness content and tools for youth and young adults. So what are we talking about specifically? Well, there's 3 components to the Parent PPW programs. The first is the PowerPoint training slides that include notes that help you as the prevention and health specialist present this training to parents. Secondly, it includes step-by-step instructor directions. And thirdly, it includes a parent guide that you can make copies of and hand out to parents and caregivers that you've presented your PowerPoint training slides to. So there's 3 components: slides, step-by-step directions or instructions, and the parent and critical parent materials that you hand to parents, and they take that home with them. What program topics are addressed in the Parent PPW programs? I already answered that for you. The Sport PPW Parent Training Program addresses alcohol and drugs, and you can see the others. We have parent programs that parallel our youth programs, so alcohol and drugs, e-cigarettes, cannabis, opioids, and both for youth as well as young adults, and that's the InShape program is the young adult program. So we can train parents to provide these positive messages to young people in homes because we know that's where there's a lot of influence for youth behaviors, both risk behaviors and healthy wellness behaviors. So let's take a look at the steps that you would actually find in your instructor guide as to how you implement the Parent PPW programs. And here they are. Here's one slide, the first 4 steps. Step number 1, we believe it's really important for you to have some training in how to implement this program to parents and caregivers. You can purchase the parent program directly on our website without the training. Look at these steps that I'm going to show you right now and implement it to parents and train parents. But we always have found that training, and it's just a 2-hour online training, is really essential because we will walk you through all the elements of your Parent PPW 1-session training, slides and materials, so that you are very comfortable with them and gain the maximum needed knowledge and confidence and skills to then turn around, use those slides to train your parents in PPW program content and tools. So number 1, we recommend receiving the certified online 2-hour prevention plus wellness program training to be able to implement your parent program with maximum fidelity and effectiveness. Number 2, You want to provide the PPW Parent Program to parents using the PowerPoint slides. And these slides have notes in them at the bottom of the slide. And I'm going to show you these today. So you'll have a full understanding of what they look like and where the notes are located and how you can use them to train your parents in that single session Parent PPW program, whichever one you choose to use, whether it be the sport program or the marijuana program, et cetera. Number 3, you're going to allow parents and guardians time to practice each of the behavior message sets. That's ideal. And that really depends on how much time you have with the parents. I think you can get through the slides in about an hour. So there's about an hour of content. You could shorten that up a little bit if you want, depending on how much content of the slides you want to emphasize. But then the question is, how much time do you want to give the parents to have a little bit of practice so they gain a little bit of confidence in saying, yes, I can present these positive image and behavior messages to youth. And yes, I can walk my youth through positive behavior goal setting. So you want to give your parents that you train using your Parent PPW program slides an opportunity to practice some of these messages with each other. And then you're going to coach them, give them a little positive feedback and allow them to get comfortable with those messages. Number 4, you're going to then walk you through the components of the youth goal plan. So there's really 2 main components that you're going to train parents in to take home and present to their youth: positive image communications, positive behavior communications, and then the multi-behavior goal setting. It's the same thing that you would be presenting, or you may be presenting to youth directly if you're using any of our youth prevention plus wellness programs. So not only will you, or could you be presenting this positive and evidence-based, evidence-informed prevention plus wellness screening, feedback, and goal setting to youth, you could be training the parents to also be providing it to you so that they have this reinforcing messaging. They're not just hearing it from you, they're hearing it from parents. They're not just hearing it from the parents, they're hearing it from you. So that reinforces that message. The more often they hear the message and the different sources they hear it from, the better it will be for them to have that content and have an opportunity to develop those skills to resist substance use and to increase protective wellness behavior. So these are the first 4 steps that you as an instructor would follow if you're implementing any of the Parent PPW programs to parents or caregivers in your region. Step number 5 is to have participating parents complete a presentation evaluation. So we give you a link for that so that you get some feedback and we get some feedback as well as to how well your training went. And we could even send you a customized link so that when you train parents, it'll just go for your parents that you train. So we do that by simply adding a pretext, to that link. So if your coalition or your organization is ABC Prevention, we would put ABC evaluation form, or survey. Number 6, you're going to remind parents to go to, and we want you to do this, to our resources page on our website, preventionpluswellness.com, because there's more free content for them. So the more content you give parents, the better. Number 7, you're going to hand out a copy of the Parent Program Guide. I'm going to show all of this to you today. Or you could email a copy to the parents that you've trained if you want to, and then they have to print out their own copy. It's a very colorful copy, resources. It covers the material that you covered in the training so that they can then look at that material, reinforces the training you've given them, and there's all those messages and and that goal plan. It's all there for them that they could share with their youth. And lastly, number 8, if you have any unanswered questions, if there are any problems, when you train your parents or caregivers in your region, you could always reach out to us at info@preventionpluswellness.com. That's the same with all of our programs, whether they're youth programs or they're parent programs. It doesn't matter. We're always available for you to ensure that you have a positive experience and see the successes that you want to see with, in this case, parents, or in the youth programs with your youth. So those are the steps. There's 8 steps for implementing your Parent PPW program. Now, let's take a look at the training slides. We're going to use one sample of training slides. That's the sport PPW program. So let's say you're interested in training your parents in the sport PPW program. You're implementing sport PPW to youth in schools or boys and girls clubs or recreation or, community setting, or it doesn't matter where, but you also want to train parents in the same model, the same sport, which is the alcohol and drug model. Then these are some slides that you would show. Of course, they differ if you were to be training parents in the marijuana PPW program, which would largely address marijuana, vaping PPW would largely address e-cigarettes, etc. Let me know if you have any questions about any of this, or any of this is unclear. You could just type in a note in the chat or the Q&A space, and I'll address it for you. So these are your actual objectives when you present your PowerPoint slides, if you were to present the PPW program slides to parents. So there's 3 main objectives. The first is you want parents to be able to identify that why their communication with their youth or their young adults should address both the prevention of substance use, whether that be alcohol or cannabis or opioids or e-cigarettes or whatever, or all of them, and at the same time promote their wellness behaviors, because you want to help parents improve their youth physical and mental health. That's why we highly recommend providing to youth and to parents integrated programs that integrate the prevention of substance use, harmful substance use, with the promotion of protective wellness behaviors. Of course, the wellness behaviors that are addressed in most PPW programs are physical activity and sports, healthy breakfast and nutrition, getting plenty of sleep, and controlling stress. And those are the main wellness behaviors that are addressed in PPW programs, the majority of PPW programs. The second objective for training parents is to allow them to explore this 3-step evidence-based model, so that they can then turn around and provide brief messages, as well as goal-setting experiences for the youth or young adults, which integrate prevention plus wellness. And then thirdly, you're going to give parents a chance to review and then practice providing these brief tailored messages and goal planning that address both prevention and wellness for youth or young adults. Okay, so these are the objectives that you would share with, and these are the slides. I'm actually going to show you the actual slides, or portions of the slides, I should say, not the whole set, but portions of the slides that you would present to parents if you were presenting the parent sport PPW program. Okay, so this slide, very early on, one of the first slides is high school adolescent substance use. This is most recent data from the Youth Risk Behavior Survey, high school students across the nation, 2019 data. And you can see, I think you can see the little note on the bottom. What you want to do is to highlight commonly used substances for adolescents to the parents that you're presenting this to. And you can see what they are, ranging from alcohol. 60% of high school students have tried alcohol, 50% have vaped e-cigarettes, over a third have used marijuana, etc. So you want them to be aware of that prevalence rate, but then you also want them to be aware of these chronic disease risk behaviors. These are behaviors that and risk factors that are going to develop chronic diseases for their youth over time, and they're even more prevalent than the substance use. For example, look at sleep. 3 out of 4 youth don't get 8 hours of sleep. If you look at toward the bottom, physical activity, not even a fourth of youth get the required amount of physical activity every day, which, by the way, is an hour every day of physical activity. Look at fruits and veggies. 41 to 42% are having less than one fruit or vegetable a day, let alone 5 or more that they should be eating. So you can see all of these risk factors. They're very prevalent among high school adolescents. It's the same data set, youth risk behavior survey data, 2019 national data for high school students. These risk factors will end up increasing the chances of youth later on in life developing chronic diseases like obesity and diabetes and heart disease and stroke and osteoporosis, etc. So you want to highlight these as well for the parents, and that's why we've created and shown these. Then there's some slides, and I'll just show you one, but there's a number of slides comparing the rates of early alcohol use in relation to each of the wellness behaviors or a number of wellness behaviors. So this is drinking alcohol before age 13, which is a marker for serious alcohol problems later in life. And so the conclusion from these slides, and I didn't show you them because there's so many to show, and these are all slides that you would present to your parents. A couple of the conclusions here. Number one, the wellness behaviors slides that you showed, those related to physical inactivity, i.e. screen time, nutrition, and sleep, all of those were associated, those wellness behaviors were associated with less likelihood of drinking alcohol before age 13 among US high school students. And secondly, parents and caregivers should therefore promote wellness habits among youth and young adults in their home settings, which may help prevent the onset of alcohol use among their young people. So parents should be aware of this, that there's this link between the wellness behaviors as being protective against alcohol use. And if you were to present the Parent PPW program for marijuana, you'd be presenting marijuana slides. What's the relationship between marijuana use and wellness behaviors, et cetera. Then there's a set of slides to compare the rates of feeling sad or hopeless in relation to each wellness behavior. These are actual analyses using the youth risk behavior survey data for high school students throughout the nation. And so this is a measure of mental health. Feeling sad or hopeless is amazingly common among young people, high school students. And the question is, what's the relationship between feeling sad or hopeless as an indicator of mental health issues and wellness behaviors? And what we can conclude is that all of the wellness behaviors, all 7 of these in the right-hand corner, were related to less feeling sad and hopeless. In addition, these same 7 wellness behaviors were associated also with less seriously considering suicide. So really good indicators that, number 1, getting plenty of physical activity most days a week. Number 2, avoiding a lot of extra online time. Same with number 3. Number 4, eating a breakfast every day. Drinking milk, avoiding soda, and getting plenty of sleep. All of those really important and may protect youth from certain types of mental health issues like feeling sad or hopeless and even considering suicide. That's why this slide is really important to share with parents. And the note below is that healthy lifestyle means getting regular physical activity, eating plenty of healthy foods, getting plenty of sleep. And we know research shows that there's a number of benefits of a healthy lifestyle. And so here they are from 1 to 7. Number 1, healthy lifestyles associated with less depression and anxiety and unsafe sex, less alcohol and tobacco and illicit drugs. And that's what we already showed you with the slides. Healthy lifestyle seems to be protective of, to a certain extent, substance use and mental health issues. But there's all these other benefits as well, improved mental health, quality of life, positive self-image, self-confidence, greater brain development, cognitive functioning, more friends, more academic success. That's number 6, very important. In other words, a healthy lifestyle is associated with less school suspensions, greater attendance, less dropouts, and greater likelihood of attending and completing college. And as I said earlier, healthy lifestyle, healthy behaviors, wellness behaviors are associated with less chronic disease. That's number 7, like heart disease and diabetes and cancer. So this is really important to share with parents. Again, what you're doing, you're addressing that first objective and showing to parents how important it is to not just have messages about substance use, but to have messages promoting positive behaviors and image. And that's why we have this that you'll be presenting to parents, introducing them to the behavior image model, this marketing or wellness behavior model, so that they become familiar with, like you may already know from your training as a provider and maybe sport or some of the other PPW programs, of how all PPW programs, whether they're for youth or whether they're for parents, are founded on this behavior image model, this model that you can use to create integrated programs, like programs that A, promote physical activity, but also prevent alcohol use, or B, promote healthy eating, but prevent marijuana use. So broader, more holistic interventions. And that there's 2 components to the behavior image model. And because parents will be providing messages that are underpinned by the behavior image model. The first part of the messaging is to communicate positive, aspirational, largely future images, and this will increase their use motivation for change, increasing protective wellness behaviors and avoiding alcohol and drug use. Secondly, you want parents that you're training to give youth an opportunity to set multiple health goals, multiple behavior goals to initiate behavior change, because that's really what we want. We want youth to start today with increasing their wellness behaviors and avoiding dangerous and harmful substance use. And to the extent that they set goals over time, brief 7-day goals, week after week, they will begin to learn to shape their own wellness behaviors. But the key is to set goals and to monitor their goals every day for 7 days. And then they'll learn that process of how to change and control their own behavior, self-regulation, self-control skills, which youth desperately need. Now, the 3-step process that I'm introducing to you, and you'd be introducing using these slides to the parents. This 3-step evidence-based process is a screening and brief intervention process. And what we've done is we've adapted this process for their use as parents or as caregivers at home for their youth or their young adults. So there's 3 steps. First, parents or caregivers will assess youth for their current health habits. That's so that the parents can become aware of their health habits. Normally, when we train prevention providers like yourselves, we'll train you to ask youth to assess their own health habits. Here, we think parents already know their youth health habits, so we're asking parents to just reflect for a moment. What are the health behaviors that your youth are or are not engaged in with regard to substance use and healthy habits? Number 2, you're going to show youth how to provide brief messages about each of those health behaviors, not just alcohol use, for example, when you're talking about sport, but physical activity in sports, healthy breakfast and nutrition, sleep, stress control. You can provide feedback on each of those, and you're going to use positive image communication, which is going to cue an unconscious image in the minds of the youth of how they could look in the future, being more fit and active and healthy and successful. These are very, very motivational images that will increase their motivation for wanting to take a step by setting goals to improve their lifestyle, to help them look and feel better and do better and perform better, and how alcohol and drugs just harms that, just really gets in the way of that. And then thirdly, that action piece, introducing this to parents and helping them introduce this and show this to their youth at home, that they can set goals to pledge to avoid substance use and to improve their protective wellness behaviors. And that will initiate that behavior change process. So this is all about getting youth to start something today to improve their lifestyle. So this three-step process right here, this evidence-based screening and brief intervention process that we've adapted for parents, that I'm showing you, that you would actually show to parents. These are the actual slides, although there's many of them that are missing. I'm just showing little bits and pieces of the slides. You would now then show step by step these three major components or steps. Number one, you want parents to assess their youth's health behaviors. And so here's the behaviors that you want them to assess in this presentation of the sport program, sports physical activities that they have seen or that they know their youth have engaged in the last year. There's a long list of them. These are actual screening survey from the Sport PPW program. And then you could encourage parents to also include non-sport activities, anything that's sports, first of all, that aren't listed, and then any non-sport activities that may be on there, like work and chores around the house, or for somebody else in the house, out of the house, anything that they might do, anything where they move their body. So that you cover both the sport-oriented youth and the non-sport-oriented youth, because we want everyone, all youth, to engage in regular physical activity. CDC recommends 1 hour every day physical activity minimum for young people ages 6 to 17. So that's the first question. Second question, does your son or daughter participate in physical activity at least 30 minutes most days a week? For example, riding a bike, running, walking, swimming. And the parent can answer yes or no. They just need to go through this in their minds to give a quick assessment of their youth at home and their health habits. Number three, does their son or daughter's friends influence them to participate in regular physical activity? Number four, does your son or daughter usually eat a healthy breakfast every morning? That includes oatmeal, eggs, yogurt, whole wheat toast, fruit, any of these kinds of things, yes or no? So these are the questions or examples of questions right out of the Sport PPW program. But rather than having the youth answer these, we want the parents to, in the parent program, to just think about where their youth are with regard to their health habits. Of course, there's going to be an alcohol question here with the sport program. If this was the Parent PPW program for vaping, there'd be a question about the e-cigarette use of their youth. So that's step one, assessing youth health habits. Step two, providing these positive messages, integrating wellness and substance use. So while you as a prevention and health specialist may be doing this directly with youth using the sport or marijuana or opioid or vaping PPW programs to youth in various school or community settings, you're now going to show parents how they can do this at home. So you can see the little note on the bottom, have parents practice each of these behavior message sets, and provide positive coaching. So you need to provide feedback. Yes, that's good. Keep it up, keep practicing. And you'll be giving them a handout, the parents a handout, so they can continue that practice and then eventually present the positive messages to their youth. But during your training session with your parents, you'll be able to go through this content, like I said, in an hour or less. And then it's up to you to decide how much time do you want to practice these messages. So for example, here's the physical activity in the last year messages. The first thing you want to show parents is that you want them to mention to their youth the benefits of physical activity in sports. And the easiest way to do this is to just show them, and this is all built in your PowerPoint slides, the slides that we would typically show the youth. so that the parents can just get a sense of the messages. Sports and physical activities are fun. They help you look fit and strong, good, feel good about yourself, give you lots of energy, do better in school and work. So these are some of the benefits. Some of these benefits are image related, like fit and strong. Those are very powerful motivational images. But the idea is to get parents to, one, highlight the benefits of wellness behaviors, including sports and physical activities, and then to mention how alcohol and drugs interferes with achieving those behaviors, fitness, and benefits and images. So active life and alcohol don't mix. Alcohol interferes with your energy level, how well you do in work and school and sports. It can also mess up your relationships with your friends and family. It can make things worse as to how you feel about yourself. So this is a message set right here. There's 2 messages, and you could have parents pair off or any way you want to do this, and they could just practice reading these back and forth and imagine themselves presenting this to their youth. And notice, very brief communications. These are not in-depth discussions with the youth. What you're trying to do is cue these positive images and benefits of a healthy behavior, sports and physical activity, and how, in this case, alcohol is just going to harm that behavior and interfere with them achieving those positive benefits and images. Just to give you one more example, and of course you'd have multiple examples addressing all of the wellness behaviors, physical activity, regular physical activity, breakfast and nutrition, sleep, all of these would be presented to parents, and you could have them practice all of these. But here's the breakfast and nutrition message. Here's mentioning to your youth the benefits of healthy eating. Like number 5, it'll give you more energy. Eating healthy will give you more energy. Number 4, have a big effect on how you feel. And then there's 1, 2, and 3 are a little bit more content oriented. What is healthy eating? It's eating these fruits and vegetables we know lacking in young people's lives. Really, it's easier to have, I think, people add a healthy food than take away a negative food. So having one more piece of fruit or vegetable or serving of fruit or vegetable a day, really important for youth. And by the way, here's how alcohol, in this case marijuana, robs your body of vitamins and minerals. So here you're trying to eat healthy to have these positive benefits, and yet alcohol and other drugs like marijuana really sap your energy and makes it really difficult for you to eat well. It could increase your weight gain and interfere with you being productive in sports, activities, school, life, etc. So here's where the parents can practice this, and you can encourage parents to even add their own messaging if they want, related to the benefits and images of healthy nutrition and breakfast, and how alcohol and drugs interferes with that. And there's even some alcohol messages as well. Okay, there's some specific, I think one of the main alcohol messages that parents want to convey to their youth, and should, is that there's alcohol problems that are very common among young people if they're going to drink. That's why it's better for them to wait for them to be adults. What kind of problems we're talking about? Arguing and fighting, even with friends and family and teachers, etc. Doing things you'll later regret, having shallow conversations because you're intoxicated, etc. Now, one thing you want to help your parents with is to tailor the messages. This helps improve reception. And you can have, again, parents practice this if you want, depending on how much time you have. So this is just one slide of maybe a couple or more about how parents can tailor their messages and either provide positive messaging or neutral messages, nothing negative, because it's too common for us to communicate to our youth in a negative fashion. And when you use negative words and communications, that's when youth tune out from message reception. So nothing negative, only positive or neutral. So for example, number 1, if your youth's engaging in a wellness behavior, You could preface your messages with positive comments. So if you see them, you can say, oh, that's good, that's great, that's wonderful, I'm proud of you, keep it up, great work. And that could be anything that you view at home. It could be them exercising, it could be them working around the house, it could be them doing their studies. I mean, it could be certainly related to the health behaviors, but even others. Are they eating well? Are they going to bed at a reasonable time? All of these behaviors that are addressed and associated with protecting against substance use and promoting positive youth development. Training parents to ask their youth what we call stop and think questions. Really important. You want to get youth to think about their lifestyle. So you could have parents practice this as well, but you'll certainly introduce some to them, such as number one, what types of physical activities or sports would you like to try or do more of? You could ask your youth that question. You could ask them which of your friends or family members encourage you to engage in habits that promote your fitness and health. This gets you as a parent and caregiver to think about your own communication with your youth and you modeling positive behaviors for them. So training parents to use stop and think messages is very important. When should parents provide these messages? So giving them a little guidance here. This is, again, just one of several slides. Number one, when you see your youth engage in any wellness behavior, that's a good opportunity to provide these positive behavior messages and then link how substance use interferes. For example, you see them playing any physical activity, eating anything healthy, eating a breakfast, preparing to get 8 or more hours of sleep, practicing stress control. Any of these things is a great opportunity or should cue you as a parent to provide a very brief positive message about that behavior, the benefits of it, the images that can result from it, and by the way, how alcohol and drugs can really get in the way of achieving that wellness lifestyle. More tips for providing or additional tips for providing positive messages, like number one, provide positive messages as frequently as possible. I would say every week, the more positive messaging, so it's not a one-time deal. And it takes practice for parents to get into this regularity of providing positive feedback to their youth and looking for opportunities to do that. Number two, provide positive messages as soon as you see the youth. So you want to link the positive feedback with the behavior that you see their youth engaged in, eating breakfast or going to bed, getting sleep, or and getting physical activity or practicing stress control. And then number three, another example, provide praise whenever you see your youth engaged in any wellness behavior. So that's it. That's feedback. Step one was screening, assessing your youth's healthy behaviors and unhealthy behaviors. Number two, providing lots of positive communications, especially those that link highlighting the benefits of a wellness behavior with how substance use can harm that behavior. And then thirdly, they should be more motivated now. That is motivational communication. So you want to encourage them to initiate behavior change. So you want to ask your youth to complete a goal plan. The goal plans that we recommend, that we use, that we found effective, have these 6 components. You have youth either pledge to or select certain substances that they're going to avoid. By the way, this is a very brief 7-day goal plan. So they're going to check every day in 7 days how well they're achieving their goals. Number 2, select a wellness behavior to increase. Number 3, identify that behavior in measurable terms. They're going to sign this, making it a contract, and you as a parent is going to co-sign it. Now, if they don't want you to sign it, co-sign it, they can have a friend or somebody else co-sign it. But having somebody see the goal will increase motivation for them to achieve the goal, to monitor the goals and achieve them. Number 5, identifying a place where they can post their goal contract every day and track it. And then there's even a 7-day calendar log. So all of these things are included. And there it is right there, a link. So you can click on this link and you could show this online goal plan to parents, which they can then take home, make copies of, or share the link with their kids and ask them to complete the goal plan on a regular basis. Now, some directions for the parents with regard to helping their youth set goals. Number one, ask your youth to complete a 7-day goal plan to improve their physical and mental health, performance, and success. So you do have to ask them, you do have to encourage them. They may not say yes right away. You could show it to them, you could introduce it to them, you could show them the link, you could make a hard copy for them to look at, and you could encourage them, and you could promote goal setting as essential for improving one's lifestyle. Examples I like to give is professional athletes set goals all the time, whether they be in Olympics or professional sport. Successful business entrepreneurs set goals, etc. Goal setting is a tool that anybody could use to improve any aspect of their life at any time in their life. So training youth and introducing them to goal setting is really important, a life skill that they can use and help them throughout their lives. Number two, be prepared to assist youth with their goal setting if they have questions, if they have problems. So it's not easy to set goals. And so giving them examples and walking them through goals, very important. Number three, consider setting your own goals, wellness goals, so you're a good role model for your youth. So that's some directions, and there's more. These are just a little sample of the directions in your slides that you'll see. And then there's some more suggestions for goal setting. You want your youth to get ready to set concrete goals. You want to give examples of goals so that they know what is a concrete measurable goal in the sleep area. How about the breakfast nutrition area? But how about physical activity? How about stress control? And this content is in your slides here, so you can help youth with this, help your youth with this. And then there's also some other parent tips, some important additional tips to present to parents. Number one, really important to keep an eye on your youth, where they're at all times, day and night, praising your youth as much as possible with regard to their healthy habits. Those are just a couple. There's more in your slides of your Parent PPW program. At the end of the training of parents, again, it's important for you to have them go to preventionpluswellness.com, or recommend that they go there and look under the heading of resources, because we have a whole bunch of free resources, particularly under PPW youth, parent and professional resources, something like that. A lot of great web-based resources for youth, and then also for you as the parents of youth. So that would be the end of the training for of the slide training for the parents. Here's the evaluation you could then show. You could show a link, you could show a QR code, you could send it to the parents. But if you have them and they have their smartphones with them, I'd recommend they type this in and they complete your evaluation, and then you'll get feedback on how well your training went with your parents. And then we'll see that, and we'll be in communication. Us here at PPW with you, the trainer, will be able to see how well your training went, and we'll be in that communication loop. Here is the actual handout. It's a guide for parents. So a lot of the content in the slides are in this guide. It's very colorful. You can make it copies of it in color, or if you want to save money, black and white. And you could hand this out to parents and say, here it is, here's the material we covered today. You can review it, you could practice at home, and then you could present these brief positive messages and these goal plans to your youth at home, while we present it to them in schools, communities, or whatever, so they have that reinforcement of this very positive communication. So to conclude, Parent Prevention Plus Wellness programs are our original youth programs, just revised for use with parents, in the hopes of getting parents to provide the same positive behavior and image communication and goal setting at home that you might be presenting to them in schools and other settings. Parent PPW programs consist of a single session parent program, so they're very practical. They're not a multi-session program. You can present this to parents, the content in an hour. You could have them practice maybe a little bit for another hour or two. You can make this as long as you want or as brief as you want, because you'll also hand them the guide. What do we call this? Yeah, the guide, the parent program guide that they can take home with them and continue the practice and implement those important messages and goal setting at home. These parent PPW programs are really designed for the busy parent caregiver, and which parent and caregiver isn't busy nowadays. And so that you could provide this very brief one-time parent communication that links the prevention of substance use with the promotion of protective wellness behaviors for the improvement of greater physical and mental health of youth for parents. So there's our website, preventionpluswellness.com. If you have not been to it, please check it out. In the upper left-hand corner is that little symbol for menu. You can click on it and you could look at the components, including the resources. You could even click on it, open it up, and show your parents while you train them the resources that we have on our website. If you need to reach us, or if parents need to reach us, they can reach us at preventionpluswellness.com. They could email us at info@preventionpluswellness.com, or they could call us here in St. Augustine, Florida, 904-472-5022. Okay, that's the end of today's webinar. I'm going to pause at this point and see if anybody has any questions. We've got a few minutes, actually 8 minutes. So if you have any questions, any comments, goal plan's a great idea. Thank you. I'm going to go to the very beginning. I don't want to miss anything, and then go down and see. We got people from different parts of the country, New Jersey joining us. We got people from Maryland. That's awesome. Michigan, wonderful. 21-year member of Women of Colors. Awesome, all fantastic. And here we got some Colorado people, more Michigan people. Goal plan's a great idea. It is a great idea. That's the piece that helps youth initiate their behavior change. The question is are you going to be able to convince them to set those goals? So the positive communications will help increase images and motivation for changing their behaviors. And then the goal setting will help initiate that behavior change. And then to the extent that you help youth set goals every week, or you encourage them to set goals every week, in 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12, 16 weeks, they'll really have had likelihood of had significant behavior change. And that first 4, 6, 4, 8, 12 weeks may all be focused in one area, maybe just focused on sleep, getting to sleep on a regular time every day. That could be one goal. Shutting off their electronic devices and putting them away or locking them up. That could be a goal for 7 days. Increasing the amount of sleep by half an hour at most days. That can be a goal. So very small baby step goals, but still they have to reach a little bit, not high goals and not vague goals. They have to be specific. Eating healthy, too vague. Eating more fruits and vegetables, very specific and measurable. Getting exercise, too vague. Walking is specific. And then again, identifying not just that, but how much fruit or vegetable, maybe 1 serving a day, how frequently, Monday through Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. All of that is in the goal plan. We didn't look at it. We have limited time, but this is the training that you would present to your parents and caregivers in the region. So people are saying thank you, which I always appreciate. Thank you guys for all you do. God bless you for all you do with youth and parents in your areas. Thank you for Happy Hump Day Wednesday. And from people from Philly, from Michigan, from all over the country and abroad. Thank you guys. We got a couple more minutes. I'm just going to wait, make sure everybody's had a chance to ask anything that they've wanted or made any comments about or anything related to the Parent PPW program, parent training, or anything in PPW for that matter. I'm happy to answer that. Just a lot of thanks from Delaware people, the wonderful Delaware people, awesome people from throughout the country. And thank you all so much. I don't see anything else, so you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, and again, keep up the wonderful work. And if we can do anything to help assist you, offer holistic programs to your youth or young adults, don't hesitate to reach out to us at info@preventionpluswellness.com or give us a call here in St. Augustine. Even better, come visit us someday here and we could have lunch or coffee or something together in St. Augustine. Beautiful place to come visit. And one last comment, when we get the certification, good question, Lula. Later on today, I will send everybody who's registered a link to this recorded session, the certificate, and the PDF slides. So if you don't see it at the end of the day, check your spam folder because of the attachments. Oftentimes it'll be spent, or sometimes at least it'll be sent to your spam folder. So no need to ask me. It'll be coming your way. Trust me with this. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.